Hello, Can You Survive All Stars fans? We are back at Tribal Council and our final four is coming on in. Sitting and getting ready for the final vote out of the game is Albie, Alicia, Kaylee, and Taylor.
All right, we can now bring in our jury.
Victory.
We have Isaiah, Brianna, Lauren, Bobby, Nina, Alan, Kendall, Ned, and Jazzy voted out at our last tribal council.
It's a sleigh. It's a sleigh.
All right, Alicia, I'm going to start with you. Wearing that necklace, did you feel like you were in charge of whatever strategizing was happening back there, or was it still more of a group decision?
No, I mean, I think I maybe was the decision maker. I mean, there's so many options. If they have their own votes, they just know where like one of them is going. But honestly, in working with these three, I feel like I've been pretty open. And so we had a bit of both, like one-on-one conversations and then group chats at the end.
Yeah. Kaylee, where's the group at? Are you deciding between two people, or do you feel like any of the three of you are eligible right now?
I think any of the three of us are always eligible. There was a lot of conversation about fire making and tying and who that would give the edge to and why would you do that? Why would you bring a winner to the end? Why would you bring someone that would have incredible connections on the jury? There's just every possible combination right now, and it's just about figuring out the right jigsaw puzzle. But at this point, it's just about owning your game and feeling really good about it, and hopefully getting the chance to tell the jury about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing about owning your game at this stage, right, Taylor? So explain to me how you balance, probably trying to tell them, oh, I'm no threat. I
Know what's happening.
hold that thought.
Holding. You might have to.
Okay.
I'll try to
Yeah.
repeat.
Okay, we're back, but it's still having trouble connecting, so I don't trust it yet. Sorry. Okay, hello again. Sorry about that. We had to reset the Wi-Fi. which should be smooth sailing from now on. Do not worry. We paused completely while we were away, so you have not missed a single moment. Will you come, or wait, hang on. Yeah, hang on. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Sorry, we are back. Let me check the volume. Let me make sure that everything is all-star quality. The internet is back on, and do not worry. While we were away, the final tribal council was paused. Our fabulous 4 contestants and hosts were kind enough to not answer any questions without you, the lovely viewers present. So I'm just going to turn the camera around, and we will get the show back on the road.
All right. I think I left off with you, Taylor. We were discussing the concept of, this is a really interesting round. I mean, how do you go back to these 3 and try to seem as harmless as possible, least threatening that, take you to the end, but also still have that confidence that when you get a chance in front of this jury, you have a chance to win this game?
Great question. I think there's not a lot of like making ourselves seem like harmless. Like we've all seen each other play, we've all worked with each other, so we all know what we're capable of, and it's all about perception. We can perceive what our gameplay is, whether it's good, bad, maybe not enough, maybe it is, but it's also the perception of what the jury thinks. And so honestly, we just had great conversations. Just kind of just really thinking and having a lot of slight imposter syndrome just far. I told him I was like, I got very emotional because I was last year, final 3, it's final 2, so that's where I went. And then being here at final 4, and then not knowing if I'm gonna make it to the next step, I was like, it's kind of like the same thing. It's like yanked right beneath me potentially. So there was a lot of discussions, great open conversations. But yeah, we'll see.
And Albie, I mean, what is your pitch to the rest of this group for why you should be in this final tribal council, sitting next to Alicia and one other person?
I mean, my pitch was that they all played better games than me. And I truly believe that. I think they all played very well. And I think I might be a 0 vote finalist if I got to the end. I worked very closely with Alicia this game. So I would understand if she would want me out because she would be scared that our similar gameplay would split votes. I feel like Taylor and Kaylee are close and they're having a hard time voting each other out. Or sending me to fire with them, which I don't think Alicia wants because that would give somebody an edge up in the final tribal potentially. So it was a tough round to navigate and kind of sucks.
Yeah, interesting. Kaylee, were there people potentially offering to go to fire and asking for a tie vote here to try to get that last bit of resume boost?
Yes.
Were you one of them?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you want to put your game at risk in that way?
We talked about it. I think it would be epic to be a winner in fire. I think
Those 2 want to go to fire with me because they know I can't make a fire. I have never touched a flint before,
Fire, and it took a
but they don't want to go against each other. So if they want to do fire, I said you guys could go against each other. We could organize that, but you
Yeah.
don't.
But transparency, that's not what we want.
Just want to beat me in fire.
I mean, doesn't that, Taylor, a little bit remove the point if Albie's admitting, he's not going to be able to get that fire going?
I think fire making is a little bit of a lot of it could be skill, but there's also I've seen luck involved. It really comes down to how much you want it. I think Albie's got a little bit of fire in him.
A little bit.
Yeah, and that's all you need is a spark. All you need.
Wow, well said. I like that. Alicia, is there any truth to what Albie is saying in terms of, you played pretty similar games. You might not want to sit next to him. Is that, something that's really weighing on you as you make this vote?
Yes, we played similar games. I mean, we were together from day 1, and we stayed together because I had banishment blocker and didn't go anywhere until the very end when I was requested to be banished by Jazzy, and Albie was like persistent on not being banished, like ever, like begging, like please do not banish me, like I cannot like survive, please do not, like I don't want to go anywhere. And so it worked and he never was. So we have been really close together the same time and it might look like we played the same game.
Okay. Unless anyone in the four of you has anything left to say, I'm interested to see what this vote shakes out like. So we'll get to the vote. We'll start with you, Albie.
All right, and with that, we are heading away to our regularly scheduled tea time, and we will talk about everything we just heard, including why they're talking about fire. It's a little bit of a survivor mechanic that you heard me talk, like, so you heard me talk about rocks earlier. This is another one of those like little survivor rule things, and so we will get into it because it's a big feature of what I have in here for y'all. So, all right. Okay, the final four. So, if you missed the challenge this last round, the players found out that it is indeed a final three. So, this is the last person that will be getting voted out and joining the jury. The other three will be making it to final tribal council and all have a shot at winning Can You Survive All Stars. So, this is a huge deal, obviously. And so, everyone is wanting to be there, wanting to make sure that they can get there. So let's start us off with that last challenge. So after the last challenge, Taylor was feeling really low post challenge. She had a hard time in the challenge. She never gave up, but her ring and the jailbreak thing fell into the ground. And once it does that, it's really, really hard to get. And she just couldn't get it done. And so, she's worried as a result of not winning the necklace that history is about to repeat itself. As she mentioned in the tribal council, she was the very last person voted out of Hunter's Moon before a final two. So she was in the final three, but that's this last season we had a final two, and so she was the last person voted out and onto the jury. She's very concerned that that could happen again here, and Can You Survive All Stars? Let's see. So as a result, she was really trying to figure out how can we get votes on Albie? Can I pitch fire making to give myself at least a fire chance? So that's like where she was going. Now, speaking of pitching fire building, as we heard, Kaylee was also very interested in fire making. I was telling Alicia, if you're going to do a fire making situation, please put me in as one of the fire people. And let's pause so I can explain fire to you. So basically, in a final four, it's kind of the same deal as a final six. It's an even number, so the opportunity for a tied up vote is there. Should the vote come out 2-2, instead of a revote, players will go to in fire making. So the two players that got voted, and in the final six, there was the revote and then rocks. This time, if there's a tie, it goes to a fire making challenge. So basically, Kaylee and Taylor are saying, please tie it up. Please, put 2 votes on me and 2 votes on someone else and let me go to fire. And they say that for different reasons. Taylor wants to because she wants to stay in the game. Kaylee wants to, even though she feels super comfortable with Alicia, and Alicia will not write her name down. Kaylee wants it as a resume builder. She's played very like a very social game, and it's not been a flashy game, and she wants that flashy move to add to her resume. Kaylee is very confident she'll get to final tribal council no matter what because she's super close to Alicia and has worked with her for the last several rounds, and she's always been on the right side of the vote. Now, Albie, on the other hand, is not confident at all that he's making it to final tribal council. He actually thinks his game is completely done. He cannot make fire, and he actually cannot make fire. And Kaylee and Taylor can. Which we did tell all of our all-stars when we cast them that they absolutely needed to practice fire. So this wasn't like a surprise thing. Like everyone knew they needed to try and practice fire. So we did tell them that before getting them out here that it would be important. So yeah, so he's worried about that, and he was planning on pushing for a Taylor vote. Now, let's talk about Alicia, because Alicia is wearing that necklace, Alicia making that decision on, who she's voting for. She told Taylor that she would not vote for Kaylee. She does not want her leaving the game. She wants to sit next to her. And Alicia is just very confident that she can win. She feels like she's played a similar game to Albie, but has more challenge wins. And so right now her focus is on how do I win this game? I'm pretty sure I can win, but what is that thing I can do to like get the extra edge? And what she's weighing right now is she knows that Taylor had a really hard time after the last challenge. So she, even though she's told other people she absolutely doesn't want it going to fire, she's saying that she's thinking about actually allowing it to go to fire, to give Taylor like a good, at least challenge moment to potentially end on, rather than like the hard challenge loss that she just did. So she's trying to decide, do I do that? And that way, if Taylor loses, I garner favor with her as part of jury management and perhaps I'll get her vote. Whereas if Albie loses, she eliminates someone in the game that played a similar game to her and might take some of her votes. So it's giving All Stars potential winner behavior for sure. So with that, let's head on in, because tea time is almost over. However, there is a little kink in this plan because at some point, Keely and Albie were talking and they think Alicia doesn't want to do fire still. So they were trying to see if they could force a tie by finding out who Alicia is voting for. But Alicia is thinking about fire. So I'm not sure if this is going to be like an actual tie or maybe they tried to tie it and then it doesn't tie. So I'm curious to see like what ends up happening. All right, and we are heading back in now. Cam has the votes. So we are moments away from finding out the vote result.
All right, I'll get to the vote. First vote, Albie. Second vote, Taylor. Third vote, Albie. Fourth vote, and the 10th member of our jury, Albie. That's 3.
Good game.
Albie, for the first time ever, the tribe has spoken.
Thank you.
Big rounds of applause as Albie exits the tribal council area.
Congratulations, final 3. You have gone as far as you can in this game. Power now turns over to the jury. We're going to give you about 30 minutes to collect your thoughts, prepare some words for the jury. Jury, I'll meet with you. We'll talk about some questions and how we'll do final tribal council. We'll get back here in about a half an hour and declare a winner.
All right. Congratulations again to our final 3 of Alicia, Kaylee, and Taylor.
Is this the first all 3 women?
We had all three.
I mean, technically we had all 2 women in a final 2.
Yeah, we
So this is the first 3. Nicely done. All right, there you have it. We will be back in about 30 minutes to get this final tribal council kicked off. We will be hearing from all 3 of our finalists as they will plead their case before a jury of their peers behind me. You will also get to hear from all of the jury members, all your faves. So we are super excited. Keep it locked here. We'll be back in about 30 minutes. And as always, I will notify you. I cannot wait to see who is about to pull out this win and be crowned the winner of Can You Survive All Stars. We will see you in 30 minutes.